Everyone, I hope everybody's thoughts are on health and happiness, love, compassion, community. This is what's going to pull us out of everything that's going on, because the more they can divide us, the weaker we become. So let's today we're going to be talking about feed, hydrate, and oxygenate. So we're talking about the cells, which I normally talk about, because they're electrical, and I consider myself an electrical engineer for the human body. And that electricity is driven by breath. And the other thing I want to talk about is sensory overload. It's more common than we think. We have 6 senses, right? Sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. But the one that's hardly ever gets talked about is spatial sense. We know, like if our foot is under a table, we can point directly at it even though we can't see it. If our hand's behind our back, we know exactly where it is, even if it's not touching our body. Well, our sensory perception of what's around us can feel like it's closing in. Like the walls are closing in on us, right? We hear that sometimes in the movies and things, or people that are being interviewed that have this sensory perception issue. A lot of people can't be out in the light. It hurts them because the sensors are open, and they're not able to regulate the eye to close the pupil properly. And they're always wearing sunglasses, or they're always having issues where they can't be in the sun. They can go out at night, no problem. But the sun is a huge issue for them. Smell. There are smells that, no matter who you are, they can make you gag, or they can like lift you up. But we can get so sensitive to certain things, especially man-made sugars. When you walk in a store and you go by the coffee aisle, you can smell that. Well, people that don't like coffee, they don't like that. You go by the sugar aisle and you can smell the sugar, and it's like nasty sweet. Oh my God, it's just so overwhelming. And that's what sensory overload is. It's overwhelming. And there are people that have these in all 6 categories. Their sight, the light, the scent, the taste, the hearing, the touch. To touch something, it's like chalk on a chalkboard, right? It gives you those shivers. And your space. Some people need a lot of space, so they move out west. And if you want to be packed in really tight, go to a city or come to the East Coast, because everything in New England is kind of packed in, where when you go out west, you can see for 100, 200, 300 miles. You can't do that here. You might be able to do it on Cadillac Mountain, because it's the very first place that gets sunlight in America. When the sun touches the top of that mountain, that's the very first place in America that's touched by the sun, is Mount Katahdin here in Maine. So as we're moving through this, okay, how do we try to turn down those senses? Because when you go somewhere to get help, they're usually raising those instead of lowering those. They're making them more sensitive, and they're giving you drugs, and they're giving you all these things. Well, it's an internal issue. And it would depend on if you were injured and it happened, Or if it's just something that's naturally happening, then that's something that's going on in the body. Like your pupils, if you have a pupil that's larger than the other one, that's an adrenal issue. Let's say it's this side, this pupil's bigger. That's an adrenal issue on this side, which would be back here, because it sits on top of the kidney. And if you make a fist and put your thumb on top, this is about the size of your kidney, and this is about the size of your adrenal. Excuse me, I don't know what happened there. So, you have two. You don't have spare, you have two. And if one is off, then that side of your body is going to be having issues. And if you get sensitive to things, there's more energy running through your body, and it's out of balance, it's out of control. It's like the TAS1R2 receptor in the back of your tongue is directly connected to your body's ability to produce endorphins, which make you feel good. So there are scientists all over the world trying to figure out how to hit that sensor, and you get dopamine. That's what I meant to say, dopamine, flooding through your body. And then when it goes away, that's the addiction. You want more to get that dopamine, because your body will produce it all day long. If you keep eating that food, you can produce it all day long without the food. But it's your story. So, to help reduce these, even with injury, because your breath is your electric. The first one is in, and it turned on your electrical system, which lets your heart beat, your lungs expand and contract, the air going in and out. Okay, this is your power. And if any of you have ever watched a boxing match or a UFC fight, the minute somebody opens their mouth to breathe, you'll hear the announcers say, "Oh, they're done." And they start backing up because they lost their power. They're burning more energy than they're producing. And the lactic acid is starting to jam up in the body, and all of a sudden you can't move as fast because you're lethargic. So you start backing up, trying to figure out a way to take a break to give your body a chance to eliminate some of this stuff. Well, emotions are the same way. Emotions are kind of trapped right in these muscles that run all the way up through to your back up here. And your eyes are connected to that. And to show you that they're connected, just take your thumbs and put them right at the base of your skull, right here, right where the fleshy part is. Fold your fingers in the back, like this, and move your eyes around. And you'll feel those muscles moving. Well, those muscles that run up each side of your spine, right up through your electrical system, go right up, and they go right into the neck, and they come right out the eyes. And the eyes are always on the lookout. If you have something that you're sensitive to, your eyes are always looking. You know, when you look up, your head goes up. Down, goes down. Goes off to the side. I mean, your whole body can turn. It's that powerful. Your eyes are connected to all the muscles because they're looking for certain things. And if you're sensitive to light, you see that light. It doesn't want you to go into it. And if it's hearing, matter of fact, a friend of mine from Santa Fe, New Mexico, I met him in Phoenix. I mean, like, met him for the first time. He's a author, writer, author. I mean, he's an amazing guy. And he said to me, I can't hear you when I was talking to him. So all of a sudden I said, do you want to hear me? And he went, yeah. Okay. And then my guides, I guess, the next thing I said was, have you ever said, I don't want to hear you? Or I don't want to hear that? He goes, no. Well, yeah, actually, I used to say that all the time. I said, yeah, you turned your own hearing down. This is what happens many times. Just over the years, or it can happen like that. Some emotion comes in and it makes you super sensitive to something. So as soon as I said, give yourself permission to hear me. And he did. And just like that, he could hear again. You know, louder than what he was hearing the first time. So then, we go to lunch. And we're sitting in the restaurant, and people are using forks and knives and stuff, and we kind of tune that out. But when you just get your hearing to turn back on, it's really loud. So he looked at me and he said, is there any way to turn this down? And I said, I think you just did. And he did. That's how powerful we are. And there were other things that happened there that was just amazing, because the answer's always in the room. When you're in tune with your higher self, answers will come to you that you would never even suspect, maybe. Because I don't know why I said that, but it helped him get his hearing back. People that I've had 5 people so far come to me after COVID that couldn't smell or taste. And we would take a lemon and cut it up. They didn't all come at the same time. Took a lemon, cut it up, and I said, do you want to smell and taste again? And they said yes. So I did EFT with them, which is tapping. Okay, I'll show you right here. I don't know why I can't taste, but I want to taste again. I love the taste of food. It is amazing how much I love the taste of food and the smell of food. I'm the commander-in-chief of my body, and I'm telling my body that it is okay to smell and taste again. And you do that a few times, and they could smell and taste. 5 for 5. Not me, them. I'm just a guide. So what happened in COVID is the nerves that bring in those vibrations, those frequencies to smell and taste, get inflamed, and the information can't travel through them. So doing EFT, which is an electrical issue, an electrical solution to an issue, it reduced the inflammation and they could smell and taste again. And one woman was in her late 80s. I just happened to go to her house for a friend of mine to let him know, just to stay there till their, I think it was the furnace. There was an issue there. And my friend knew that I was in the area, so I went over and sat with him until his man got there. And while he was fixing the furnace, they said she can't smell or taste. So we did it right there. It only takes a few minutes. That's how powerful we are. But everything's been taken away from us. The control. And we are the power that allowed it to come in, and we have the power to kick it out and and go back to being normal. It might be sound healing. It might be live liquids. I think you should be doing all these things. If you're not sweating, get in an infrared sauna. Take hydration with you. Grounding to the earth, taking your shoes off, and grounding 10-15 minutes. And if you don't have time to ground for 10 or 15 minutes, you should ground for 30 to 40 minutes, because that's how out of balance your body is. Too much mind, not enough grounding and feeling. Because healing is a feeling. If you could think yourself well, nobody would be sick. I mentioned this too in another video I was talking about it today with some friends. Over 100 years ago, cancer was 1 in 10,000. And with 100 years of scientifically proven solutions, we're now 1 in 2. Your lymphatic system, your breath, the ability for your diaphragm to go up and down, to move our feet. The balls of the feet are a lymphatic pump, and it pumps the lymph up. And when we lay down, it's able to flow through if the 6 channels of elimination are open for that to happen. So let's go through the 6 gates. These are lymphatic gates, okay? Now I'll get up here for the first one. So the first one is right by the neck. You can feel it. If it's sore, don't push on it really hard. Just move around it, and then underneath. And then we can tap it and just rub it. And it doesn't matter which direction you go in, and you can be there for 30 seconds or 5 minutes if you want to. Then we go to the other side, just above the collarbone, next to the neck. You'll feel a hole there. And if it's sore, don't, this is about healing, not about pain. So as you do this, it's going to take some time to get this out of there, okay, above and below the collarbone. Tap it, rub. Okay, that's gate 1. Gate 2 is behind the ear, right behind the earlobe and above the jaw. There's a little hole there. Just rub that, and then you can tap. Just be careful not to tap over your ear, and then drag down. There's a lot of lymph nodes in this muscle right here, this big muscle, okay? And this drains the head. It comes out through your skull, comes right down through with the vagus nerve and a bunch of other stuff. Autonomic nerve comes right down and right down through, right into your stomach. So then we go to this side. I just find it easier to cross my arms over than try and drag down like this. I can get a better grip on it, but you can do whatever. Your body. Okay? And that pulls that right into that first gate. All right, gate 3, right where the shoulder rolls into the chest plate. There's a little groove there. You can go right under the arm too. Tap it, rub. As we're doing a lot of the Qigong, these gates will open also, but this is directly affecting it. You should do this every morning. And if you can't do all 6, make sure to do the first one. Okay? This is a really important one, to keep that open. It drains the head. And if it backs up in the head, you get all kinds of things like brain fog and forgetfulness, dementia, Alzheimer's, plaque building around on top of the skull. It's all acids because your body's not flowing. There's no blood and lymph getting there. The blood is the kitchen, and the lymph is the bathroom. So the blood brings oxygen, hydration, and nutrition to the cells. They absorb it. So malabsorption, wherever that is, if you have it in your body, that's what it is. the cell is sitting in acid and has built a mucus layer around it that is so hard that it can't get in there anymore. And that is caused because the lymph is not cleaning the cell. As the lymph cleans the cell and keeps it clean, that's the body's job, is to eat. And as we swallow, it goes down into the stomach, right? And there's a methylation process there. And as that methylation process gets compromised, it's not pulling all of the vitamins and nutrients and minerals and everything that the body needs to get it into the blood to distribute it. And then you're going down and hitting a malabsorption area, which could be anything, okay? And most of that is dehydration, because things that are, a stream flows better when it has water in it. And if it doesn't, it dries up. And everything that was involved in that stream starts to die. It's no different in our body. It has to flow, it has to feed, and it has to clean internally. So proper hydration with live liquids, live foods that we eat, consume, okay? And just add them into what you're already doing. And over time, you won't even have to use your willpower to change. As your body is feeding on things like the Master Cleanse and juices that you make, not that you buy, that you make. Fruit juices, fruit smoothies, they digest at a different rate. 60% of your available energy is to digest your food. So if your body's only producing 70 or 80%, and you're forcing it to go in there and digest a large meal, alcohol, whatever it is, and you don't have enough energy to do that and do your daily whatever it is you're doing, your body will put you to sleep. It'll put you in a food coma. And the more energy it takes to digest that, and the less you have to go do your daily thing, you'll be into what's called a food coma, drool and everything else coming out. That's because your adrenals aren't strong enough to handle your daily activity and digest that food or that alcohol or both. Just think of Christmas or Thanksgiving. It was a big meal days, right? And people are drinking, they're having a good time, hopefully, and the next thing you know, they're asleep on the couch. So that's how important it is to understand what we're putting in here. This is our digestive system. Our mouth is where it starts, okay? And as it goes down through and filters down through the body, and it comes out of the stomach, that is very acidic. And as it goes through, ascending, transverse, and descending, there's different acidity levels through here, almost like a assembly line, right? Starts out super acidic. As it goes through, it's alkalizing it. It's processing and alkalizing, and as it goes across and down and it goes out, it's at a pH that you can eliminate and it doesn't burn you. But if it's going too fast, if your digestive system is really over acidic and it's traveling through too fast, and all of a sudden you have IBS, you have Crohn's, you have whatever, right? And it's burning all the way through. If you learn how to slow that down so that it can alkalize as it goes through, it will regenerate itself, it will heal. I'm supposed to be doing exercises while I'm talking here. movement anyway, not really exercises, but, and I hope you are too. Just keep moving. Even if I stop and start talking, keep going. So we're at gate 3, which is here in the shoulders. So gate 4 starts right under the solar plexus, and it goes down and around our belly button. It's a very important one. Everything in the back, the small of the back comes around and comes up through here to the 3rd to the 1st. So we're going to do a deep inhale through the nose, and we're going to do a deep belly breath. Inhale through the nose. That creates nitric oxide, which will help the heart relax and the arteries and veins relax and be more flexible. So inhale through the nose, this deep belly breath, and when you exhale through your mouth, we start rubbing. And you want to get it all out. Go around the belly button. There's thousands of nerves here. This is where your life came from, was through here. All right. Now, heel of the hands will go across, fingertips, we go back. You can switch this one to the top, which is a good idea, but we're moving everything in there. 2/3 of our fluid is right here, okay? And we need to move that around. A lot of times, when people, their core strength isn't that great, but when they lean to the side, all that liquid goes to one side quickly and you lose your balance. But when you can stand on one leg, and you should do that, even if you have to hang on to something and just let go once in a while, and stand on that one leg as long as you can. And that's strengthening those core muscles. And this is my left side. So on my left side, I'm strengthening the core muscles over here. When I do this, strengthening them on the other side. And it's a good idea to keep them as balanced as possible, because any muscles in the back that are pulling, okay, if this one's really in a state of trauma, okay, it's going to be stronger than this one. It's going to pull, it'll pull the vertebrae back and forth. They'll be out of whack. This is why chiropractors can help you, because they can go in and they can relax those muscles so things will come back in place. Not muscle relaxers. Okay, that was gate 4. Gate 5, right where your legs come into your torso, that groove right there. And you want to get down underneath too, inside your legs. You can use your hands like this if you want. And just chop that, because we don't want that backing up. Backs into things like the uterus and the ovaries and the testes and the prostate. So we want to keep that flowing. Everything has to flow in the body. It's all about flow, all of it. No flow, no go. Okay, gate 6. And this is the final gate. Okay? Behind the knees. And I like to do one at a time. I do both sides. That way my thumbs are up by my kneecaps. And as it's hitting, it's sending vibration through the knees. And if there's anything in it that is weak, it'll start pulling blood and lymph up into that joint to regenerate. I usually do 9, but you can do 9 to 90 if you want to. Okay, now we're just going to roll the foot now that we have the lymphatic gates open. Because remember, from the bottom of your feet all the way up through, we have to go through the gates. Gate 6, gate 5, gate 4, gate 3, to get to gate 1. Which is why it's so important to lay down at night. Get our rest. The body heals when it's resting. when you fall asleep, your breath shifts. When you're angry, you hardly breathe at all, and your words are sharp, and they're intense. When you're in love, your breath is soft. Your words are soft. Your actions are soft. Not like when you're angry or you're out for revenge or, like all the movies. Okay, now let's kind of bounce around a little bit. And that creaking is not my body, it's the floor. Just in case you're wondering. Shake your hands. We used to do all this stuff when we were kids. There was nothing, like hopscotch and hopping across the floor on our feet. I mean, these are things that we did when we were unknowingly helping our body keep the lymphatic system open. So let's do some hip stuff here. You keep your hips in shape and your spine in shape. Everything else will kind of fall in place. So we're feeding the cells, we're hydrating the cells, and our breath puts oxygen in the blood, and it goes right into the bone marrow. You can breathe anywhere in your body. I think it's important to talk about. You can breathe into this finger. You can breathe into the tip of your chin, your hip, your foot, your knee. Energy flows where attention goes. And the power is the breath behind it. So when we breathe in and we want to send something to the shoulder, we just think about that shoulder. And that's where the energy goes. And then we hold, and then we release, and when we release, we say, whatever is causing this pain in my shoulder, make it go away. I'm the commander-in-chief of my body. You can do that with EFT. Whatever's wrong with my shoulder, I give it permission to go away. I'm the commander-in-chief of my body, and I tell it to heal itself. And your brain, because your words are quantum energy, your brain will create the chemicals to go regenerate it, to fix it. The greatest pharmacy in the world is not down the street. It's in your head. And the beauty of that is, when something is repaired, it'll stop making it because the body's self-regulating. It's not, you got 6 months or a year or 2 years to live and you're going to be on these drugs for the rest of your life. The body doesn't understand that. The body doesn't know numbers. It doesn't know anything except feeling and movement and rest and grounding to the earth and live foods and liquids. That's what turns it on. And those cells, when they are at peak performance, your strength is incredible. And your ability to heal is incredible because you can eliminate whatever toxins are coming in. And there are no toxins that I know of that in trace amounts the body can't get rid of. It's that powerful. But we have to manually take it over. What's automatic in the autonomic fight or flight, we can pull that back through our breath. Nice, long, deep, slow belly breaths and exhale through the mouth and give your body permission to relax. And feel it relax. You can be high, 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 or you can be low, low, low. It's in your story. And the intention you put on the words as you tell your story. create a great story. If you don't like the book of your life right now, just turn the page and start writing a new chapter and write that out of your life. And it can happen in an instant. And like Tony Robbins says, it might take 20 years, but when it happens, it's going to be like that. Because your belief shifted. In the Matrix, you have to pay to get an education. When you allow things to flow and you're asking questions, you will get an answer from higher self, higher power, whatever you want to call that. And as you get more and more in tune, things from your past, answers will start to come. How to let it go. We are infinite beings in an infinite universe with infinite potential. Living in a world of abundance, taught fear, scarcity, and self-doubt. You may be hopping and skipping into the hospital, but by the time the doctor gets done with you, you're lucky if you can get out on a walker. Because they drain your energy through story, through things that you feel can't be shifted, can't be changed. It's not true. But because they're the experts and they have the education, we believe them. If you break something, that's a place to go. But if you want long-term care, you are the long-term care. Believing in ourselves, mentioned in another video. If you was to list all the things that you love in this world, how long would it be before you got to you? Loving you, loving yourself. And really should be at the top of the list, not somewhere down here, because all those things that you love would not exist without you loving yourself first. It'd be more enjoyable. You'd be able to be happy and satisfied with what you have. A lot of people who are emotionally distraught buy through emotions. It's like emotional food. And there's not much hydration in emotional food. And it lowers our energy. Think of energy like this is divine energy, right? And this is perfect health. And what happens as our energy lowers, it doesn't mean we'll have, but we'll be susceptible to things like cold, flu, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's, MS, Parkinson's, cancer. These are frequencies because our energy lowered. And once you raise your energy above that frequency, this can no longer exist. And it's really that simple. And what raises our metabolism, what raises our energy, what rebuilds our electrical system? Breath, quantum air, movement, getting the chest to open, getting the lungs to drop. As the diaphragm drops, the heart relaxes. And everything down here gets squished. Massage. When you exhale, it goes back up. It's helping to pump the blood, to move it through everything. The reason sitting is the equivalent to smoking now, I guess, is we're not using the balls of our feet. We're sitting all the time. So, even if you're watching a commercial, for those who have television, from what I understand now, a 1-hour show is actually about 25 minutes, and the other time is commercials. Programming us with happy thoughts and excitement and the things that lead us down the path to dis-ease. And we can just go from side to side. Try to find your balance point. That's when your head, your hip, and your foot are in alignment. That's where you get your balance point. All right, I think I rambled off here enough. So I love you guys. Thank you for joining me, everybody. It's been a pleasure to be here. And I can't remember what I was going to do for tomorrow, but I have like three days of things planned ahead of time. So I'll be getting into that tomorrow. All right. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.